Hello and welcome back to the LFC transfer room. We do have more people on, they just haven't joined yet, so people might be coming in and out. Well, hopefully just in. Sorry, Electric Dreams. We aren't James Corden over here. We try and entertain you. But yeah, so I'm Charlie. We're with William today. Hassan might be joining. Stitches might be joining, so they might pop in. But William, you're the only one on time. How you doing today, mate?
Yeah, good man. Bit recovering still a bit from being sick last week, but for the rest, been okay again now. Looking forward to the footy. Really, I've been dreading not being like I've literally been ill. I had all the time in the world to do nothing, and still there was no good footy to watch or anything.
Yeah, international football, very peak. I hate it,
Hmm.
especially when there's just not even good international football on. But Hassan, how you
How are
doing
you?
today, mate?
I'm fine. A new setup for William after a long time.
Yeah, indeed.
He's come forward.
Definitely, but Stitches might be in at some point during the stream. We'll see.
Yeah.
Who knows? We're doing a rogue one today, so let's move. But again, guys, if you are new to the channel, if you're watching on X, YouTube, make sure you do leave it a like. Electric Dreams, thank you for joining. Paul Golden as well. Get your comments in. When I'm hosting, it's always fun. You know, we never do anything by the book. I'll just throw random crap at you. So, and there will be some hate on certain players. So we move. Let's not shy away from that. Let's get some drama. I'm sure everyone in our chat knows I love a bit of drama. So we'll do that on stream as well. But first of all, we're gonna get it out the way because it's been doing me head in, and I think it's gonna be one that is talked about until next year. Hopefully he signs by then. But Liverpool's very own Trent Alexander-Arnold, Scouser born and bred, apparently loves the club, is linked with a move to Real Madrid. I'm sure everybody is aware. In the past day or two, we have been getting a lot of conflicting reports. I will preface it that it is mainly the Spanish side is mainly via Marca, who are basically Real Madrid's mouthpiece. Anything they want to put into the media, they go to Marca. I don't care how you say his name is Jose Felix. He has horses on his Twitter. I don't know anything about the fella, but apparently he's reliable. I don't believe him. On the flip side of that, they're saying, so the Spanish journalists are saying Trent's going. In essence, Liverpool are accepting him going. We could look at accepting a fee in January, if they want him for January and he's resigned to going. On the opposite side, you've got relatively people in the know. We've got Davo Cop or whatever his name is saying that it's getting closer. I mean, Willem, it's a bit of a shit show, isn't it? Let's be honest. It's getting a bit annoying. Paul's saying I'm fed up with TAA. I am as well, and I feel like this news has only been around for about a month or so, and we've still got at least 3 months of it left.
Yeah, I mean, I'm at the same point, but I'm fed up with all three. To be fair, because I'm still at the point now. We're nearly at November, and none of the big three have gotten a contract extension yet. But now the Trent news is kind of ramping up even more. Obviously, with Madrid as well having the Carvajal injury coming through, I think it's kind of accelerated their PR side a bit. But it is worrying in general of just how long we are taking with these contracts and how long it's to get sorted, especially considering that all we've heard over the past couple of months is that Trent is the priority to get done. And somehow we've gotten two other contracts pretty much done in Kwanzaa and Kanate, but the big three that we all need kind of re-signing still haven't gotten any movement yet. And yeah, just the whole Trent thing in itself as well. I mean, time will tell. All I will say is if he does leave, I really, really hope it's not on a free, and then he just at least tells us in January, like, look, I want to go, and we get a fee, because then that's literally to the point I'm kind of getting to now. Is like I'm starting to accept that he might leave, but then I just hope if he does do it, then his mind is set on it, that he at least does it for a fee. But we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll talk about it more later, but I feel like the fee is a big part of it, Hassan. He's come through the ranks. He's been at the club since he was 7. We've given him the opportunity from he was 19, and now he's become, one of the best players in the world and arguably one of the best right backs that's ever played the game. For me, it feels like I was comparing it to the Torres situation at Liverpool. It's 10 times more worse, the Torres situation. And, it's not like it's. I feel like if it was another club and he'd went about it differently, there could be some leeway. But you go into Real Madrid, who are known for being very, not stingy, but very,
They
very,
get what they want.
yeah, they're very smart in the transfers. They have the aura, they can attract players. I wouldn't be an issue if we hadn't lost 2 Champions League final, or it would be less of an issue if we hadn't lost 2 Champions League finals. But it also just leaves us in the dry, in my opinion. Yes, we have Conor Bradley, but Trent Alexander-Arnold's a 100 million player, and we're going to get nothing for him. At least sign a contract, and then if you want to leave next year, bro, off you go. I think that's where I'm coming from, where my thought is. I think it's very scummy to leave for free. I mean, it was before my time, but McManaman was the same. Correct me if I'm wrong. And is McManaman looked as a Liverpool legend? No.
No.
I think this trend, if it happens how we think it's going to happen, where he potentially will leave on a free transfer, I think he goes from being talked as up there with like Dalglish and Gerrard to down there with the likes of Owen McManaman. But there's so many circumstances, isn't there, Hassan? It's kind of, we're still months away from it, but at the moment it feels like there's a lot more negative outcomes than positive ones, isn't there?
Yeah, I hope it's he learns from the past players. Looking back, especially if he sees Coutinho, how he throw all his toys out of the pram for the move, and eventually got the move. And it's not easy to go to these two clubs and instantly become fan favorite. Here, he's a local boy. We have been with him through every thick and thin. Whenever if he joins them, he will judge as a world class player as soon as. And we all know there are some defensive deficiencies in him. If he will be successor to Carvajal, who has been a legend of that club, and he's good going forward, but defensively he's really aggressive player. And we all know Trent is not like that. He's really good going forward and doing those things. Madrid fans will weigh him according to Carvajal. So for him, he should consider all these things. As Coutinho went there, he was here as a fan favorite. All the team was made to play according to his style. Same, it's with Trent Alexander here, that we play to his strengths here. If he goes to Madrid, he'll have to play as a one-off player. So he should he can be a hit there, but if things go a bit sideways, he will lose confidence, and they will get on his back. So for me, as you guys said, that it's a must that he should consider that if he really wants to go, and he loves a Madrid lifestyle and all that, he should be considered to his club, and gives them some, because, and we should do same as Coutinho, that we should pull their pants off, like we did with Coutinho. We took all the money and invested well with them, and took us to the next level. So if we sell him, it should be in January, or if he signs something and after 1 year, we should sell him and take the money and invest it accordingly.
I think that's an interesting point you brought up to the end. What do we do with Trent if he hasn't made a decision by January? January 1st is when he can sign a pre-contract with Real Madrid. The club will know by January 1st if he is or isn't signing. I said in the build-up, it should be leaked to the press by then. Let's be honest, everything's leaked nowadays, Willem. But what are you doing? January the 1st come round, he hasn't signed his contract. Reports come out saying he's signed a pre-contract with Madrid. Are you saying, well, do you know what, mate? Enjoy the bench or enjoy the under-18s? Or another option I know people have said that I disagree with, run him into the ground. I know I've got a feeling what you're going to go with, but to preface it, I think, is the effort going to be there? If he signed a pre-contract in January, is he going to be giving his all? I'd rather just play Connor Bradley if that's, if we're going to be playing Connor Bradley next year, give him 6 months, in the squad, and I'd throw him in the under 18s on the bench. Like, I don't want to play who doesn't want to play for us, but January 1st, I think that's when everything's going to we'll know, thankfully. What do you think? Do you think that? If so, on to my other question, what are you doing with him if that is the case?
I think, well, on the part of the play him into the ground or bench him, I think the alternative for me would be run him into the ground until we can see the effort isn't there anymore anyways, because then all he technically does by doing that is whatever part of people would still protect him from his legacy, despite him leaving, would then also turn on him and go, fuck the legacy, you didn't even want to play for us. So that's also, because that would also kind of turn over that leaf. So I think regardless, you would play him into the ground, because if he doesn't put in the effort, he's going to tarnish everything he's pretty much left behind anyways. And on the whole, what you do, well, the thing is, apart from the part where he could have signed a pre-contract, you could even get a situation where Trent agrees to saying, I won't sign a pre-contract, but I will then be sold for a fee. But then you have Madrid going, well, why are we going to go pay a fee now? So they'll just wait it out anyway. So that's kind of also a big problem that you've got, that it's not just at that point Trent that's going to decide, no, but hop in. That was just the last little bit that I wanted to add to it, and that was it.
Yeah. Hassan, what about yourself? Are you playing him into the ground, or if he doesn't sign, thanks for everything, but you're leaving for free? You've kind of betrayed your club who give you everything.
Yeah, I think it will drag on till at the end of the January. If he has made, he's making them to pay the wages he wants somewhere near. So he will wait till the end of January to tell them his decision. So we might not, we might give him a deadline that you can give us answer till then. And it's a big test for our new uh, sporting director. He has managed to sign only one player and one player for the next season, and only one extension till now of a youngster. So for him, it's really important to show that he can be at a big club and deal with these big players. So I think if he doesn't sign and he says that I'm going for free, I think we should start Bradley till the end of the season, or because he'll be the a player who will be with us, and for him, so he could be on the bench as a second fiddle to Bradley.
Yeah, it's interesting. As I said, we'll see with Trent. I think, Paul's here saying feels like Groundhog Day regarding contracts. I think Salah and I mean, I'll ask you, Willem. I feel like Salah and Virgil. I think most fans are kind of at ease what's going to happen. I think we're all very confident that Virgil will sign an extension. I would be extremely shocked if he's not first person to get it. Salah, I think most fans, I mean, I'll speak for myself, but I think most fans are fine either way. If he signs an extension, great. If not, we're just going to have to replace him, aren't we? I mean, what were your thoughts on them two, William? Are they less worrisome than Trent are currently, in your opinion?
I mean, for Virgil, definitely, but I think as well with Virgil, he's been, along with Salah, probably the first one as well to say, I want to stay here and I want to get the deal done. So I think that's done a lot. of things kind of to calm down. I think with Salah, one thing that I have kind of noticed is that there has been a lot more links to replacement and kind of the idea of letting him go. And obviously the fact that Salah himself came out after the Man United game and literally said post game, I still haven't received any offers from the club. And basically kind of saying that in a way of saying, hey, I want to stay, but I'm not getting the offer coming in. And whilst I understand that a lot of people are fine with it either way, I'm in the camp of it's very much easier said than done to replace the numbers Salah has, especially in right winger. Right winger is such a dry position in talent compared to left wingers in world football that I think it's just in general very hard to replace it. And even so, I would still say that I think I would prefer to have an understudy come in for a year or two under Salah and go for someone really young who has potential to work with, who might not be the same, but due to working with Salah, can maybe learn a bit more and kind of take on that mantle. In my opinion, it would be a big mistake to let him go for free this year.
Yeah, nah, I see what you mean, but I think with Salah, Hassan, I'll ask you. I think we're all kind of slowly accepting that he's coming down, isn't he? You know, and it's not to say he's a bad player, but you know, he's not the same directness he used to be. He's not as fast as he used to be. He's very much now, it seems like, a lot more dribbling, I guess, you know, but I don't know. You know, someone said he thinks Salah will go to Saudi or MLS and earn a fortune. You can't blame him if he can. He's still got that winning mentality, but that drop off you're starting to see. I am anyway starting to see a lot more than I am with Virgil van Dijk.
Yeah, with Salah, but I think the most positive thing is his availability. Uh, he's always there. He's always willing to play the 90 minutes, and if he's not scoring, he can assist. Uh, and I am with William that we should at least he should be here for couple of seasons at least, or one season more, so Slot can be comfortable in his position, and he knows the options, he knows the players. So we because if after one season our backbone is completely torn off, so it will be difficult for him to rebuild that sort of strong backbone in the team. If Virgil, Trent, and Salah goes in one window, then it will be really difficult for him as well. So I think it should be a easier transition and slower transition. Hopefully, we can sort of deal these things earlier. We should have done it earlier, so we can be easily looking forward to the match instead of these things.
Yeah, definitely. It's a terrible look for the play in Trent's situation. It's a terrible look for Trent. It's a terrible look for Liverpool. It's a terrible look for the owners. It's a terrible look for literally everybody. And we've got a new manager who has to deal with all this rubbish. Like,
And then kind of also summing up the past couple of summers as well, where we've had these debacles with the Caicedo, the Lavia, the Zubimendi deals, like also kind of not going through and making us either shift, like go back to a makeshift, or I option and get something on the cheap, or wait for a bargain at the end of the window instead of actually addressing the positions that have needed addressing for quite a while now.
yeah, and look, midfield's still an issue. You know, we missed out Zubimendi, we then missed out Caicedo, and then Lavia, and then we missed out Zubimendi.
Zubimendi.
That's 3 summers in a row that we've tried to sign a 6. Yes, Gravenberch has miraculously decided to become the best midfielder in the world. But it's another situation of bailing them out because they know that they needed that. Where they were never expecting Gravenberch to be as good as they were. And I don't care. It's people might say, oh well, smart business. No, because we still need a 6. Like, let's be real. So we'll see. It seems like that they've kind of learned the lesson a little bit with Mamardashvili. They're not risking Allison kind of being like at the end of his contract, okay, see you later, which I think with his injuries is looking a lot more likely. So we'll see. But yeah, doesn't look good on anybody, and Arnie Slot's left there. Trying to solve it. His three best players leaving at the end of the season. So yeah, sorry, Arnie. Hopefully this doesn't happen in the future again for you. Okay, before we go into the next topic, guys, if you're watching on Twitter, come over to YouTube. Again, we've got loads of comments. Thank you everyone for joining. If you have just joined, make sure you do leave a like on the video and subscribe. If you have any questions, let us know. But next topic, Alexis McAllister doesn't look like he's going to be fit for the Chelsea game on Sunday. He didn't train with the teams there. I don't know if there was anyone else who didn't train. I know Chiesa did train. So Slot said in his presser he's looking really good. On the flip side, Van Dijk didn't play the second game in the internationals because he obviously got sent off, and then Salah as well didn't also play the second game. McAllister didn't play the first game and then played the second game. Not sure why that even happened, and now he seems injured. But Willem, I've seen a question going around, or not question, but a worry that, after Van Dijk, McAllister's kind of one of the players who helps the team tick better than everyone. He lets Gravenberg do Gravenberg things. He lets Trent do Trent things. He's kind of this season. He's become the guy who's just everything goes through him without you really noticing. He's covering the positions. He's covering for because at that side he's got Salah, who, let's be honest, doesn't like to defend. We got Trent, who, let's be honest, doesn't like to defend. So I think if he's not fit, it's going to be trouble, especially with Cole Palmer on the form he is. That could be a massive one, couldn't it? If we miss if he's injured against Chelsea.
No, definitely 100%. I mean, Gravenberch's been getting all the praise this season so far, and rightfully so. But Gravenberch doesn't play the way he plays his first, I think, in about 10 games in total now that we've had. He doesn't play the way that he plays without McAllister next to him. Like, McAllister's actually, especially if you look defensively as well, McAllister clears up a lot of what happens in our midfield. Even, I think, personally, a bit more than Gravenberch. I don't know what the stats are, so I wouldn't have any idea. I'm just basing it kind of off the games that I watch. And it kind of lets Gravenberch also more progress the ball a lot more and kind of carry it a lot more forward. So yeah, if he doesn't play, I'm already, I don't know, I'm already overthinking it in my head. I'm thinking maybe this is the game where we should start Endo and just 1-for-1 mark Cole Palmer, because that's the only one who I'm really truly worried about, and that's kind of it with McAllister not playing. If not, yeah, I don't know, probably Curtis Jones in there, but I don't think that would be the best option necessarily.
I mean, speaking of Endo, was it last year that he absolutely domed Caicedo and Enzo? Like, was it the Chelsea game where he just smoked them, and everyone was like, "Oh, well, good job we didn't spend 250 million on these two because our 13 mil Japanese captain has just showed them how to play footy."
It is true, but I think you can also make the argument that this year it does seem like it is a bit more of a different Chelsea. Like, I think they are more stable in certain areas than they were in the past 2 seasons. I still think defensively they're quite shaky at the back, which does still give me a bit of a quiet confidence of a good result on Sunday. But I am mostly about their attack. I am quite worried, even with our defense and how good it's been, because they seem like going forward, they do seem very, very dangerous. So if we don't have our double pivot kind of functioning as it should be with an informed Palmer and an informed Madueke coming in right now, because Madueke has been really good so far this season as well, I have to say, it could be a really long day. So I from what I read as well with Maka, I thought it was more that he just trained separately. I didn't think it was that he didn't join the full training, but he was doing like some exercises for his fitness. So I'm not sure if he's 100% ruled out yet.
No, I don't think he's 100% ruled out, but he wasn't in the team training today. I think that was confirmed. So, you know, we've seen anyway, players on in, let's say the Friday, they then train on the Saturday and they're then in Sunday. He's basically got 2 full days to really, for us to decide whether he's fit. And, players nowadays can get fit pretty quickly. Hassan, another one, Federico Chiesa, after maybe not the ideal start to Liverpool, he's picked up injuries, hasn't really got going. Is there a question to maybe start Chiesa over Salah, who hasn't really been, that influential the past few games? Or do you go with, it's Mohamed Salah, he always turns up against the top 6 teams. It's a big game, regardless of form you play him.
Yeah, as you said in your second part, it's Salah, and he's always up for these big games. I think with Chiesa, I think he might not be fit enough for this game. I might be wrong, but I think Salah and with McAllister, you guys were discussing. I think it's really absurd that he was even allowed to go to Argentina. We already knew he had some problem. He should have stayed back. Every club, Arsenal players stayed back, City players stayed back. So he should have stayed back and work on his fitness. He went there. I think his injury became worse, so I think he's not fully fit. And for me, I think for this game, I think we should start Endo before Jones. Endo should be there, and Gravenberg can be play his natural game 8 like he used to. I think it will be an option for us going forward as well, if we ever try do the shuffle in the midfield.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, before we kind of move on, I'm not that worried about Chelsea. I'll let either of you come in on this, but I think against Forest, they didn't really look great, and Forest should have won the game. I know Forest beat us, but it was just a long range shot. They didn't really offer anything else the entire game. They looked fairly comfortable on the ball against Chelsea. The Brighton game, yes, they won 4-2, but defensively, again, they were absolutely shocking. Where we've got the best attack in the league and we've had the best defense in the league, you know, and we're going up against Chelsea, whose defense again looks all over the shop. Apparently, Reece James is playing. I don't think he's ever had a good game against us, or he's at least fit. You've got Mark Cucurella acting like he's a footballer again. I don't even know they're going to be playing a centre back, but I mean, Hassan, just really quickly, or Will, I'm sorry, whoever wants to, I'm not worried about them. I think we're gonna go and we're gonna put 4 or 5, like maybe not 5, maybe 3 or 4 past them. Like I don't think when I look at their attack, I think Cole Palmer, yeah, but we're in Arne Slot's system, we pack the middle, so he's gonna have no room to work with. Whereas other teams, yes, they might be more wide, but we're so central with Slot now. I just don't see where he gets the space, the time on the ball with other teams that he does. Not really worried about Madueke. Sancho, terrible. Canate is going to have Mudryk basically to deal with on his own. And whoever they have up front, Jackson, I trust Van Dijk and Canate to deal with him. So, I mean, Will, I know the match previews tomorrow, but I'm always confident. But I don't see how Chelsea can beat us personally.
I mean, there is a way, but the way is quite simple, really.
There's
It's
always
like,
a way, yeah.
but I mean, the thing I'm more worried about is if we have one of those days like against Forest where we don't really create too much, or if we have a day where our shooting boots really aren't on. The one thing I do rate more from Chelsea is like the fact that they have been able to score goals. They've conceded a lot, but they do so far. Apart from I think the first game against City, where it's against Man City, and we didn't really know what Chelsea was going to turn up, like how Chelsea were going to even play in that game. They've pretty much scored in every game, and I mean they've scored in abundances in a couple of those games. So that's more where my worry would be. For the rest, on paper and based on how it should be, we should be winning this quite comfortably at home, at least in my opinion as well. But things never go how they should go on paper. So that's more the thing that sticks in my head mostly with it the entire time. Just things that can happen on the day, really.
Yeah, Hassan, confident.
If we see positively, like you said, we have the best defense, and if Virgil and Konate are on their game, I don't think these young players can trouble them. We can be comfortable. The only thing concerning, and it's the negative part in me, it's after the international break, like Nottingham. These games are always worrying. So hopefully we are top of our game, and we don't go back on these things which have troubled us in the past.
Yeah, I mean, we know how Slot was like after the Nottingham Forest game. He mentioned that literally every single week. So I just don't think he's going to let the players do that again. Kelleher loves a game against Chelsea. So yeah, Trent loves a game against Chelsea. Salah loves a game against Chelsea. I think this is a very Darwin Núñez game as well to come off the bench. If we go 1-0 up and, Chelsea are chasing the goal, stick on Darwin Núñez and just let him run around. And, Harvey Elliott's back, hopefully, as well. I know he's been doing training. So, fingers crossed, I'm confident. But at the same time, anything can happen. But this will be a big statement win. I think this is a must win if we want to go on a little run during the next, month or so.
Especially having Arsenal next week as well.
Exactly. Yeah, I think if we lose against Chelsea, it's not looking good.
No.
It really isn't. So, but yeah. Anyway, guys, make sure you do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new. If you have any questions that you'd like us to answer, just stick them in the comments. If you are watching on Twitter as well, make sure to come over to our YouTube channel, LFC Transfer Room. Okay, another update in a saga that dragged on far too long. Martin Zubimendi, one of the Liverpool Echo guys, was speaking on the Blood Red podcast and said that at the moment, no bridges have been burned. He hasn't signed a new contract, so the potential for a move away is still open, and sources at Liverpool are refusing to shut down a potential deal. Now, Willem, coming from the Liverpool Echo, they very rarely give us anything. They like to say it's not happening, it's not happening. So for them to say that it is a possibility, quite good news for them. But it might not be burnt with the club. The club and the player might still have a good kind of, not relationship, but good contact. It is gonna, if it happens, for me, it has to be for a cheaper price. He has to be on a lower wage than whatever we offered him, because I assume he was probably coming in as a mid to high earner. Maybe in the same bracket as like your, I don't know, Sabozlais, your Gravenbergs, around that 150 to 180. I think you need to be on like 80 or 100k now. And you're also going to have to start on the bench. You were walking into this team originally, but now you're not getting on the first team, and he's going to have to start as such a, because the fans are going to remember it, aren't they? I'll remember it. I don't know about you lads, but I'm almost like, if that's who Slot wants, if that's who he's like, this is my man, he's going to help it for me, I'm down for it. But you've got a mountain to climb with the fans. Is that your thoughts, or are you kind of forgive and forget?
Is it for me or for Hassan?
For you, go you, Will, and I'll go Hassan.
All right. Honestly, I'm at the point now where unless your name is Kylian Mbappe or Jude Bellingham, which is pretty much two of the best players around in the world, then you can come back in and say, "Oh, I regret moving and I want to come to Liverpool instead." All good. At the end of the day, like Was he probably the best defensive midfielder option out there in the summer? Yes. Looking at the season started now, I'm looking at Belieber at Brighton and I'm going, you know what? That seems just as interesting and good to me and might probably be the same price or a bit more expensive. I think at that point as well, with the way how it went last summer, the fact that he was so tentative in that he said yes, then said no, then said yes, then got swayed, then the whole thing. I'm pretty much over it now. I was all over it on the summer, and I was like, yes, this is the best DM to get, especially for slot system and how he wants to play. But no, after what's happened last summer now, and just there are other options out there, so I think screw it, go over to the other options.
Yeah, I mean, Hassan,
Yeah.
the main thing for me is I'm not. You either say to Zubimendi, you were pushing for this move, you're gonna have to refuse to play if they're trying to get 55 million out here again. I wouldn't touch him for anything more than 40 million, personally.
Yeah, I think, but the release clause will come into play, and I think it's an opportunity for the club and the player to spare their blushes. For the club, that he was the primary target and he was the one that it was really open that we are in for him, and to not get him in the end, it looked bad for the new sporting director as well, and for him to stay there and not getting the new deal, and club is in really tough position. They can get relegated as well. So I think in January it will be to spare the blushes for both the club and the player. So if he comes in, as you said, he will be now at the bench and he has to prove his worth here. And I think with release clause, I think we have to pay that, and after that, the wages. I think as a lesson, we should offer him a bit less than we were already saying to him that we will present him.
Yeah, I see where you're coming from there. You know, I understand why we would still be interested in him. You know, and I understand why Man City are interested in him. He's very Rodri-esque, maybe not as powerful and as strong as Rodri, but he recycles the ball well. You know, he's looking up the pitch. He's very much a, a possession-based player to kind of sit in a holding role. So there's not many unbelievable talents out there with that. So I understand why, but you know, it's just a bit rubbish that you turned to start last year. You know, after we were literally you'd told us we'd sign. You know, you'd sign for us. I think if it was just a failed transfer, and you know, we couldn't agree a deal with Real Sociedad, we wouldn't even be having this discussion. But the fact that he was the one who turned us down, you know, yes, it might have been because we were messing about with the transfer fee and trying to offer installments. But I think the club would have learned that from now. They'll just meet Sociedad's asking price, which again might be an issue in the long run. But we'll move. I'm bored of Zubimendi. It's like Trent. You know, if it happens, great. If it doesn't, whatever. We've got Ryan Gravenberch, so we move. Obviously, after that, it's a bit peak, but you know, we've got Curtis Jones behind him, so sad times. Anyway, final bit of news, bit of a surprise one that come out today. Liverpool are one of the clubs who are looking at Bayer Leverkusen's Florian Wirtz. The news is coming out that if they were to sell him, if Bayer Leverkusen were to, you know, authorize a transfer, which it looks like it's going to happen next summer, that they do not want to sell to Bayern Munich. Anybody but Bayern Munich, and the main clubs interested, I believe in the article, were Real Madrid, which I don't know how they're signing all these 100 mil players. Real Madrid, Arsenal, and Liverpool. Now, Arsenal have Odegaard, Real Madrid have Jude Bellingham, and I know these two aren't on that level at the moment, but we've then got Szoboszlai and Harvey Elliott. I don't see where he fits in any of them teams, Wilhelm, but he definitely doesn't fit in our team. and he doesn't justify spending 100 million when we've got Szoboszlai and Elliott, does he?
Not really. I mean, I think he's one of those guys you can kind of play as like an attacking midfielder and kind of on both wings. I'm not gonna lie. Bundesliga is like one of the few leagues that I really do not really watch. Like I keep tabs on the results, but I don't really watch any of the games. So I normally I like to base it off players, like watching them as much as possible. And from most of what I've seen from him when he plays is that he does play more either on the left hand side or in a cam, which as you said, along with Cam, the left winger is especially a position where right now I'd say is not where we need any depth. Um, so I don't see it. I think it'll be a mix in between of like either we are interested, but then we know that the transfer fee and the wages are going to be an issue at some point because what Bayer Leverkusen are going to ask is about 150 million euros or something like that. At least that's what I've heard. It's the first full quotes coming on. So then we have that. He'll probably ask for astronomical wages because at the end of the day, nothing's guaranteed in football. So I imagine that with a big move, he's going to think of big wages as well. Are we going to do that? No. Is it something that we need? No. So I think it's just been used to kind of probably accelerate some form of a negotiation personally with some other club. But I can't see us seriously going for him.
Yeah, I mean, Hassan, it's a bit of a weird one because not many clubs at the moment really play a 10, and the ones who do have very specialized 10s already. You know, like I guess, like you look at Liverpool again, you look at Odegaard, City, United, even, you know, Phil Foden to a certain extent, Cole Palmer. You know, all these teams that play with a 10 already have a 10 who is arguably their best player. Yes, he can play on the left, but he's not really fast enough. He's very much a Phil Foden, Cole Palmer-esque winger, which again only really suits that possession-based system. Which, yes, you could look at as like Liverpool, but from what I've seen so far this season, Slot seems to like very direct wingers who will run at the players, not the cut inside and, you know, recycle play. So I don't know where the hell they think they're getting 150 million from, but it's definitely not going to be Liverpool, is it?
Yeah, and as opposed to Bayern, I don't trust these German clubs. They always say that we will not sell to Bayern, and at the end of the season, the player is, if he's has made his mind up, he will go to Bayern. And as you said, that he's sort of a player that there are very less club. If we see that really need him, but as to a player, I really rate him. He's a really intelligent player, and he's a sort of player that takes the responsibility, and he's when he's on the pitch, he demands the ball, and he makes he makes things happen. He's really good, but for us at that price, I don't think he's a option. But crazier things have happened. If Slot really wants him, and there's an indication from him as well, then maybe if there's an opportunity, as we always hear in our news, that if the opportunity arises, that then we will sign him. That then we will sign him, or else. Crazy Pep can go for a winger like he always do. He always like three or four options. So maybe he'll sell Doku for him. We don't know, but I think if Bayern is interested in him, I can see him going to Bayern.
Hassan, do Bayern need him though? They've got Musiala, who's not too shabby himself.
Yeah, they have now Olise as well, who is doing really well there. So I think with Bayer Leverkusen, they are looking for him as an asset. That's why so many clubs are being mentioned. His agent at the club wants the best fee for him. So I think he will be put in the market, and they will try to get a bidding war for him. So whoever raises the price and show that they want him, he'll go there.
Yeah, I mean, it could be like a domino effect. Musiala could leave, and then who knows? Even Szoboszlai might come in. Jay saying Szoboszlai swap. I mean, I wouldn't mind a straight swap, but they're never going to do that. Let's be honest. I think Szoboszlai might have decreased in value since he joined Liverpool. If we're being honest, but yeah, I don't like the idea of it under slot. I would rather go and spend 75 million on a midfielder and then 75 million on a Van Dijk replacement over a 10 that we don't really need. I trust what we've got at the moment. I don't think we need to go and spend 150 million on a luxury player, let's be honest with ourselves. Okay, I mean, we're nearly at the
Anthony
end.
Swab
Yeah.
in United. Anthony Swab with him. Anthony going to.
Yeah. Maybe they do a swap for Anthony,
Well, the thing
never
is, we
know.
might need a replacement for one of the striker options as well at the end of the season if one certain guy doesn't perform as well. So I think
Yeah,
that we might have a few more positions to address after the season than we really realize as well. So
we got left back as
especially
well, which needs to be solved. So 150 million on one player. Who is he going to improve the squad drastically? Let's be
it's
honest.
also just
No,
not the areas where we need it.
no.
That's just more it for me. If it was if he'd had been playing as like a right midfielder, right wing role kind of thing, then I would have been like, you know what, different aspect. It could be a different style to Mo because it could maybe work something out there. We already have a lot of the left hand side covered. Could maybe get that right hand side, do something else with it. But it's not his position. It's not where he plays. So I can't see us doing that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Jay's not a fan of Szoboszlai. It's not that I'm not a fan of him. I just don't think he's a polished off player at the moment. He's got all the assets to be a great player, but he passes when he needs to shoot. He shoots when he needs to pass. He's doesn't have that killer instinct. I mean, I said it in our chapter. I think by the end of this international break, if Harvey Elliott's fit and Szoboszlai's playing the same as he has been, I will not surprise me if Harvey Elliott takes his place in the next few weeks. I think they
mean,
both suit certain teams, but I think all round, I'm picking Harvey Elliott every day of the week.
they are definitely different players though as well. Like, because I think the one thing, definitely like from Szoboszlai, his assists and his goals are very much lacking, and he does make a lot of the wrong decisions sometimes. But at the same time, I think with pressing and what he does offer, like kind of off the ball work wise, he delivers more than what Harvey could really kind of deliver in that aspect. But I think Harvey, in giving the final pass and both actually in a shooting so far, because that is also one thing from Dom where I'm like, I've actually been quite disappointed how his technique has developed over the last year as well. Because he started off scoring some absolute screamers, and we haven't really seen it since. Like even for Hungary as well, he hasn't really been. He hasn't. If he has a long shot, it doesn't really go near the target that often. It either go wide. But I think technically as well, maybe we expected a bit more of him than what he has also been showing these past few months. But there is definitely still a player in there.
Yeah, there's a player in there, but I think, Harvey Elliott hasn't been given a chance in this slot system yet. And I've always said for Liverpool, he will thrive in that 10 role because as an 8, the distance he would run as an 8, he was one of every single game he ran the most on the pitch.
Yeah.
And that's what one of the discussions was in our chat, that Szoboszlai offers all this pressing and he offers all this power, but so does Harvey Elliott, and Harvey Elliott knows how to score. After Trent, he's the best passer in the team, creative wise. Obviously we've got Van Dijk who can spray like a 50-yard ball, but creative wise, I think even more than Trent, in and around players and finding that pass to goal, we don't have anyone in the team who can do it in such a tight space, which I think in this, again, we've mentioned it before, in this very, narrow system, I think Harvey will thrive in. Outside of speed and power, I don't see what Szoboszlai offers more than Elliott. Elliott can score a screamer. He can assist. He's a progressive passer, probably one of the best progressive passer midfielders we've got. He's going to take that risk when it's needed to be, but he also knows how to recycle to the wings. He can cut out wide like Szoboszlai can do. It's just the things that Elliott is good at. Szoboszlai is just nowhere near, and the things that Szoboszlai is good at, Elliott's quite close to being on the same level as him, and yes, Szoboszlai's tall, he's handsome, he can run fast, great for you, mate. But when I'm talking about a real footballer, a real baller, I'm picking Harvey Elliott every day of the week. But, I'm never not going to back Harvey Elliott. It just won't happen. If he goes and starts putting stinkers in on the pitch, but he's never let us down. Harvey Elliott doesn't let us down. He never let Klopp down, and I'd be very surprised if he let Slot down, which is why I was very frustrated why Elliott didn't start the season, because I don't know if you can recall, but Harvey Elliott was our best player in pre-season, and it wasn't even close. In that Slot system, he was the best player, so it's interesting, but I'm sure we'll talk about this more, especially over the next few weeks. We've got 3 games every week, so we're going to see both of them playing, and we can all make our own judgment. But I like to think I'll be right, so I'll be coming back to this Elliott Szoboszlai thingy. But before we go, guys, I know the game is on Sunday, so we'll just go score predictions. How you think the game's going to plan out against Chelsea? Hassan, I'll start with you. How you think the game's going to go?
Yeah, I'll be positive 3-0 to us. We'll be looking forward to this run of games in a positive sense and start off really good.
Yeah, 3-0. I'm thinking the same, I'll be honest. I'll go one up there and I'll go 4-0. I just don't think Chelsea have got what it takes to score against us. I've never been more confident in a Liverpool defence in my entire life. Canate and Van Dijk, just 2 absolute man mountains who so far haven't put a relatively destructive foot down outside of the Wolves goal, which you could blame Allister for as well. All Liverpool's 3-1. Again, guys, get your scores in. But Willem, we'll close it out with you. Thoughts on the Liverpool game?
He's taken mine there. I was going to say 3-1. That was it. So I think it'll be probably quite comfortable, and I can see us do it where we kind of start messing about in the last 15 minutes, and that's probably where we'll concede a goal. But then it just kind of stays all right. I think it will be a solid game, but I am wary of Chelsea's attack. I know we've had different perspectives on it, but I am a bit fearful more that it could go the other way. But we should still win this comfortably.
Sunday game. It's going to be, the sun will be setting on Anfield. It's always a good atmosphere when Chelsea come to Anfield as well. As I've said, all the big players usually turn up, especially Trent. Loves a free kick goal against them, and Salah always loves to turn up. Never know, might get black gloves, Salah on a long sleeve, depending on the weather. So it could be a tasty one, but I'd be surprised if we don't score 3 goals. I'll be honest. The defense just looks terrible. I'll close out on this, but first goal scorer, I'm going to say Luis Diaz. Let's keep the form going. That's who I'll go with.
Szoboszlai.
Go on, Willem. You can have your first scorer as well.
Jota.
We're covering bases here, guys.
Oh,
we're covering bases.
I'm backing Jota any day of the week. That's my guy.
A ghost performance, and he'll just pop up in the box.
Exactly. He does nothing for 30 minutes, and then all of a sudden he's there. Bang.
A Jota trademark. But anyway, guys, Willem, Hassan, thank you very much for joining today. Everyone in the comments as well, thank you for putting your comments and having a discussion. We will be live again tomorrow with the match preview at 7:30 in the evening, and then we will be live straight after the Liverpool game on Sunday. So make sure you are subscribed with the bell notifications on. But yeah, I've been Charlie. This has been the LFC Transfer Room. Thank you very much for joining today, and take care.